Well, there it is. Jonathan Gannon is no more. What up, y'all? JT Eagles Talk from Delco. Back with another video, which I was going to spend talking about the Eagles' offensive performance in the Super Bowl. But about 2.5 hours, the news broke, and I know a lot of you are very, very happy that Jonathan Gannon is now gone. He is the brand new coach of the Arizona Cardinals. I would say, good luck to Jonathan Gannon and, his new job. I've been critical of Jonathan Gannon, but I also always try to be fair. And you look back at any of my videos that I spoke about Jonathan Gannon, I tried to, advise people, to look at the whole situation as a whole. When things go wrong on the football field, we tend to always blame the coordinators for every single thing that happens. I said it in the video yesterday that, in that Super Bowl, I actually went back and watched a few things, got to hold players accountable, for some things. And whether it was the players weren't totally prepared, I don't know if they were confused out there. But like I said, I'm still having a hard time believing how out of sorts the defense was. I mean, they look like they had never even played together. And somebody has to answer for that. I would never root for somebody to lose their job, but I thought that it would be better that if he did get that job and didn't have to come back. Because as I said yesterday, how everything happened, I can't, make it work in my mind that he could come back, even given that everything isn't his fault, because he was already a lightning rod in this town for the 2 years he's been here. But he's done some good things. If you're a stats guy, you could talk about all the sacks. And, the defense wasn't as bad as it was in the previous. It wasn't as bad in 22 as it was in 21. So he's done some good things. But it's like I said, every time we face an elite quarterback, the defense gets shredded. You're not even an elite quarterback, even just a terrific quarterback. Your Dak Prescott's. I spoke about, we played Green Bay, how Aaron Rodgers was lighting up the Eagles. And then the kid Jordan Love came in and threw a long touchdown pass after Aaron Rodgers got hurt in that game. So there is something definitely off about it. Now, I don't know if the players just aren't getting it or whatever the case may be. But you know what? For all of you who really wanted him out of here, I thought, after the Super Bowl, it would be the best thing for him to go somewhere. So, everybody, I guess, got what they wanted. But I'm going to tell you, listening to a lot of things today and just what comes with general knowledge of knowing how things work in NFL. This team is really, really going to look different next year. So now we're talking not only replacing our offensive coordinator, now the defensive coordinator is a thing. And people think when I listen to the sports talk radio or just see it, you got fans that say, let's make Seth Joyner defensive coordinator. Let's get Brian Dawkins to be defensive coordinator. Come on now. It's not that simple. It's not that simple to just plug whomever you want to plug in there. Obviously, the name, Denard Wilson, who's our secondary coach, may be a guy that they're planning to promote from within. But if not, you got some retreads out there. Lovie Smith is the guy who comes to mind. I heard some rumblings that, Vic Fangio hasn't exactly signed his contract in Miami. Maybe they can woo him to come. But, if you're talking the sunny, warm weather down the floor as opposed to up here in Philadelphia, what would you pick? But, I talked about yesterday how, teams who lose the Super Bowl, it's harder. Well, it just doesn't happen that they go back the next year. The Patriots were the last team to do it when they lost to the Eagles in Super Bowl 52. Remember, they came back the next year and won Super Bowl 53. But, this is going to be a dramatic turnover for this defense. And not to mention all the free agents we have, we have 7 defensive starters that are going to be free agents, next month. And while, yes, we can look and hang our hat on the offense, let me talk about this defense because they're going to have to make decisions on players. Now, we know that Darius Slay is going to be here next year. And our other starting cornerback, James Bradbury. Listen, I'm not going to let what happened at the end of the Super Bowl diminish what I think about James Bradbury. I mean, he was absolutely lights out for us this year. It might not have shown in the interception numbers, but, teams wouldn't go after James Bradbury. I mean, he locked his side of the field down. I think he's only given up 2 touchdowns in the regular season. He was solid in the playoffs. Like I said, the call at the end of the game is the call, whatever. But I would be all for it if they could bring him back. But now I'm going to go to my number one priority if I'm the Eagles is re-signing Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. That's the main priority if I'm them because, I mean, the kid is 25 years old. I mean, he came here and balled out, I mean, had he not gotten hurt, I mean, he probably would have had like 8, 9, maybe 10 interceptions. And it's very rare that you have a guy that young. I mean, just entering his prime, in his prime years, I think it's a no-brainer. They got to bring, CJ back. But I think it comes down to you have to make a choice because are you going to pay a safety and pay another corner when you're already paying another corner big time money? So I think this is where it comes into, having the dollars make sense. And I can't get it out of my mind. I can't just stop talking about how a missed opportunity it was. I mean, had we won the Super Bowl, then all this other stuff would have been secondary stuff we can work out later. But just this roster that we had and we didn't win it because we're not going to have it like that again. And all right, come on, JT, refocus. Refocus. Talking about the defense. So they're going to have to make, hard decisions like that. Marcus Epps is a free agent. Now, Marcus Epps, he started off well, and he was one of the guys that I was hoping would take a big leap. But he didn't take the entire leap that I hoped he would. But he was okay. I mean, he was a solid option out there. He was a good option out there. He's a free agent. The general of our defense, T.J. Edwards, who I give T.J. Edwards all the props in the world. He came to us as an undrafted player out of Wisconsin. The knock is, no, he's not a very athletic guy, but he worked his ass off, to become the smart linebacker that you want, being the leader and controller of your defense. I think he's played himself into a lot of money. Have to make a decision there. Kazir White didn't have the impact that I thought he would. So that makes me, now I know some of the experts, like I was watching on the Jacob Sports Media channel, Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, and those guys. And they were talking about, they don't know if the Nakobe Dean is ready. I'm ready for the Nakobe Dean experience. I expect him to step up and get that spot next year. Because could he possibly be any quieter than Kazir White was this past year? I would like to find that out. So, listen, if he comes back like on the same deal that he had this year, well, sure, why not? Competition is great. But I'm ready to see what Nakobe Dean can actually do. Our defensive line, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Brandon Graham, free agents. What's going to happen there? Milton Williams, we know, is a nice, solid rotation, defensive tackle. I don't think he's a full-time starter at D tackles. I don't know what the Eagles think about him being a full-time starter, but decisions are going to have to be made there. Is Fletcher Cox going to come back? How much are they willing to pay? Javon Hargrave, who's been one of the better free agent additions that Howard Roseman picked up. I mean, he was worth every bit of the contract he got for the 3 years he's been there. You know, he'll be 30 years old soon, but I mean, that's a D tackle, 11 and a half sacks. And really, I think, in my opinion, the most underrated guy that was on our defense this year. You know, that's going to be really interesting to see. Well, some of us assume that the Eagles have already worked out a contract extension with Von Hargrave. We were hearing rumors last year that they were going to do a contract extension, but nothing came about. So that's something to keep an eye on. Brandon Graham, I think if he wants to play, will be back. We all know BG loves it here. It'd be great to see him finish out his career. So we'll see what happens with that. And then you have like the other guys. What's the kid's name? Out of USC, the D tackle. Marlon Tuipulotu. You know, he's still on the roster. And Big Jordan Davis, big man, it's going to be time for you next year. I mean, it ain't no more being out of shape or conditioning. You best be ready to take that huge step next year. For the capital that they gave up to get you, you better be ready to step up, big guy. And then the other guys, the free agents like Ndamukong Suh, Linval Joseph, I don't see it, you know, them coming back. But who knows? As far as, you know, defensive end and addressing it, you know, infusing it, we do have 2 first-round picks. You know, I haven't gotten around to looking at the edge rushers that are going to be coming out in this draft class, but we can always stand to use pass rush help. You know, Derek Barnett still has another year on the 2-year extension he got. And, well, I guess probably roll your eyes when I said Derek Barnett. We'll just see what he can give us when he comes back. But I'm just sitting here thinking, you know, this is going to be a major, major overhaul. And things like this, you know, already going up against history and trying to make it back to the Super Bowl, this kind of thing is definitely a hindrance to, you know, plans like that. But, you know, offensively, you know, I'm going to talk about that. I'll talk about that in tomorrow's video. Like I said, I was going to do it today, but since Jonathan Gannon moved on, got his job, I figured I'll speak on the defense. And so we'll just keep our eyes and ears open and see what breaks next. I'm not sure when they're going to start the process of doing hires for the coordinators and the quarterbacks coaches. If Brian Johnson does move up, which is what they've been saying, you know, Jalen Hurts is longtime coach, could be moving up to take Shane Steichen's place, you know, I guess maybe by the end of the week, or we'll have some news on that. But anyway, like I said, just wanted to hop up on here. I'm going to say salute to Jonathan Gannon. I didn't think it was all bad with you, but I do think this might be good for both parties. You know, congratulations to him. I hope everybody is continuing to is still going through the healing process of what we just went through. And, you know, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.